Meeting to order, so we can start with the roll call.
Yes, Member Baldwin. Here. Member Carlton. Here. Member Green.
Here.
Member Chen.
Here.
Member Wan.
Here.
And Member Shaw is absent tonight.
Next, I will read the land acknowledgement. City of Albany recognizes that we occupy the land originally protected by the Confederated Villages of Lishan. We acknowledge the genocide that took place on these lands and must make strides to repay the moral debt that is owed to the indigenous people, specifically the Ohlone tribe. We thank them for their contributions, which have transformed our community and will continue to bring forth growth and unity. City of Albany commits to sustaining ongoing relationships with the tribe and together build a better future for all now that make this their home. The next thing is to approve the minutes from our meeting last month.
Would you like me to bring those up?
Sure, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any, going through it, are there any amendments or changes that people need to make?
None from me.
Okay, then I will motion to approve the minutes from last month.
I second.
Okay, motion and a second. Member Wan.
Aye.
Member Green.
Aye.
Member Carlton. Aye. Member Baldwin. Aye. Chair Chen.
Next, we have public comments. If there are any public comments in person or online.
I don't see anybody in the audience, physically or virtually. So.
Then announcements. Are there any announcements from staff or members?
I have a few. Just wanted to let everybody know that we launched the call for artists for the foyer gallery last week. Made the updates to the website, and let me just go ahead and bring that up here. I'll give you a shot. Also, as I have mentioned before, we're doing a number of website refreshing activities, and so this is the temporary new layout until we move to the new platform. So I've kind of expanded a little bit here, a little bit more room for imagery and some key buttons to take people to where they need to be. But the foyer gallery, I also made some updates to the page to feature current, whatever the current show is. This will get updated as the gallery shows. Links to the artist website, and then applying to the gallery takes us to the exhibit application, which is now on the website and live. This was, we did some updates to the application, which used to be just a one-letter document. And we put it in line with what was created for the murals program. And so subsequent call for artists or artist recruitment will follow the same template, more or less. There's a lot of good information that Deirdre and Harsh put together in there to kind of help make it more defined what we were asking for and capture more of those specific, requirements that we'd like to see. One thing I did notice that the committee probably should look at some point in the future is there are no specifications for artists in past any past documents that I could find about what sort of art is applicable to be featured in the gallery. Basically, as open to Northern California artists, I added some basic descriptions based on what we'd seen in the mural project and some other gallery spaces, but there is no definition of the type of art prior to posting this information that I could find. The committee looked like there were some notes, back, over the years for how to refer to it, but nothing, made it specifically into the end of the documentation. And I thought this may be something that the committee looks at some point in the future. But we're ready to go now. We'll work on a more updated, more robust contract for upcoming artists while we're working on the contract for the mural project too. So those both contracts will be, and also for the sculpture loan program. Previously, it was just a letter with, a series of check boxes for initially and agreements, but we'll do a valid contract for artists. Another announcement that I have is that to date, we have not received any submissions for either the mural or the foyer gallery. So probably would want to refer that to the marketing committee. Maybe we can talk a little bit about that in the during subcommittee updates, because you may want to look at some mailing lists and universities and how to get things to other organizations. I sent out with the agenda some of the flyers, the assets for sharing. So hopefully everybody can start pushing it out on their own social media, or posting or making contacts and sharing that. If you need any other resources, just let me know. The other announcement is I will be going out of town in June on the weekend prior to the Arts Committee meeting. So depending on what the agenda is like, either we may need, cancel it, find a replacement for me, or look for a different date. But I think there are some other members who may not be around that weekend as well. So just an update, and we can talk about that under future agenda items or next meeting. Yeah.
When you showed us the website,
Mhm.
and you showed us the same landing page last week,
Oh.
what is that structure from? It looks like umbrellas or something.
Oh, that's the anemones over in the Sprouts parking lot. That's public art.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Okay, thank you. I
Mhm.
just couldn't figure that out and I meant to ask that.
Yeah, where is that beautiful public art? Oh, it's over there in the parking lot.
See, we need a map. Thank you. It's outdated.
Outdated, yeah.
How would we go about changing the time for the meeting or decide?
Oh, that would just be the chair and I would we would talk through the committee, see if everybody's probably under next meeting, either at the May meeting. We'll probably look at it more closely for an upcoming meeting and then see if everybody's available. I could come with some other options for free nights here in the council chambers. There's about 2 or 3 weekday evenings that are not already filled with other public meetings. So we'd probably be looking at one of those dates first rather than changing the time. So likely a Thursday or a Tuesday or the final Monday of the month, and see if everybody was able to make it. If there wasn't anything pressing or anything that was time sensitive, the meeting could be canceled, or it could just be moved to a different date.
Are there any other announcements? Another announcement was that we had some interest in the poet laureate position. So maybe that is something that we could discuss or revisit at some point.
Yeah, we're kind of apologies for not getting that onto this agenda. I know that some people had mentioned it before, but the chair and I didn't quite remember to to get that onto this one. But perhaps we could look at that under future agenda items tonight.
Was that something that was posted? Because I seen it and I saw that email and it's like, where'd this come from?
It was, no, it hasn't been posted. In fact, it's been off the city website for a while. Member Baldwin and I were just having a brief conversation about what some of that history was. And it looks like the last time that there was one submission for the Poet Laureate program in 2022. And the Arts Committee had a special meeting to review, but I don't think they ultimately decided to create that Poet Laureate position. There have been at least two that I'm aware of Poet Laureates for the city of Albany since probably the mid 2000s, perhaps earlier. But I think this one person was the Poet Laureate for several terms. So I can certainly provide more information at a subsequent meeting if you'd like.
Sure. I honestly just kind of popped up and I'm like, what is this?
There was an email that was sent to the committee from
Yeah.
a person who's interested in revisiting that.
Qualified. I don't know anything about poetry, so.
It's not something that the committee looked at for it's not part of the PAPP plan, but it would be one of, it's another aspect of the Arts Committee that the Arts Committee has weighed in on it. So I'd be happy to bring back some information if the committee wants to look at that at a future meeting.
Yeah, I think in the past it has been a budget item in our action plan, and in our meeting last year, after it wasn't continued or the call didn't find a Poet Laureate for the last call, then we just didn't really pick that up in our current work plan. Yeah, I think maybe for like, I guess the next work plan is kind of coming around in half a year. But there's also our small grants too as well, if we wanted to get a head start on this.
I don't know, just in reviewing her email, seemed pretty good. Like, it's something that we should probably discuss.
Yeah, maybe at the next meeting, we can kind of revisit what that position was in the past, and then if we want to try to reinstate that.
I believe it's only $1,000, right, a year?
Yeah. It's a small step.
Any other announcements? We can move on to our next agenda item, which is presentations. We weren't certain about whether we were gonna have Eugenie come and speak about Seen&Heard, because it was a little bit of a last minute invitation, but we can still talk about it and take a look at their website to see if we want them to come and give a presentation next month.
Question, whether or not we're doing this now without Eugenie. She is the driving force of this, and I feel like she should have a voice in discussing this. And the website is up there, so everybody can look at it if they want and send some back. Personally, it's not a huge rush.
Okay.
So personally, I would like to push it back to next month.
Yeah, in terms of gallery space availability, it's at least next year.
Yes, and she's looking for next year.
One of the things that the committee, the reason I think it came onto this agenda is the committee can receive presentations from affiliate groups here within the community who are doing arts-related projects and activities. And it's certainly something that the committee members, the chair, can invite local organizations to present to the committee to keep you abreast of what's happening here in the Albany Bay Area art scene. So for that reason, even if, because this project is slightly different than what the format is for the foyer gallery, it is good for the arts community to be aware of what's going on and seeing if there are other future different types of collaborations that could happen, or just simply by knowing who the players are here in the Albany art scene. And there's a number of organizations, student, adults, you want to invite in to do presentations on their programs and projects. This would be an example of that.
I would welcome.
Mhm.
A little flux, because we've been a little bit stagnant, a little bit, we finally bought something last month. But he wants to present them as long as they're not. Besides that,
Okay, do we have to do any public comment for this?
If that's the extent, Brad, of what you'd want to share about Seen and Heard, in preparation for Eugenie, hopefully coming to the May meeting, then yeah, we could open it for public comment, but I don't believe we have, let's see, in our. Yeah, go ahead. We can go ahead and open it for public comment.
Somebody company.
Yeah, no, let me just stop my share so we can see. If we can bring the timer up, yeah. If anybody would like to make a comment on the brief presentation on Seen and Heard, feel free to raise your hand on Zoom. We don't have anybody here in the audience right now. Not seeing any hands.
Okay, any more discussion on Seen and Heard now?
Just one quick update. She is ready to present for next month. And the reason I didn't really kind of want to go through the website is that she was asking me, does she need a PowerPoint, or can she just go from the website?
Go from the website, or if she wants to bring a PowerPoint, whatever she feels is what, it's fine.
I thought the same, so it's like I didn't think we needed to go through the website. So I think we can table this.
The next section is the subcommittee updates. So first we have the foyer art gallery subcommittee. So we're right now working on finalizing that, the contract or the call is already online. Anything else besides?
No, I reviewed all the documents that you updated. They look great. They're concise, which I appreciate. And just a quick confirmation, Susan Moffett is not presenting this year. She's not showing this year.
That we're finalizing the contract. Likely that would be the final quarter. We don't have dates yet, but likely that would be November, December 2025. She will not be presenting in 2024.
Okay, so can I get a confirmation that I can contact Lucy Ames?
Yeah.
Let her know?
Mm-hmm. That's,
She seems to be very busy, so sooner I can contact her. the
Yeah.
better. Yeah, other than that, we are on track for Ela Jarvis to install in late May. Li Ching, she will uninstall. heard of that. And Leaching has expressed interest to do another show. And I told her just, go through the proper motions as usual. So we'll see.
Yes. Do you know if any of her pieces have been sold at all? Or
Yes,
they have? Okay.
yes, one got sold the day of. Another one got sold a few weeks later.
Cool.
So one thing that I will do is I'll move, since we don't have signed agreements from the other artists, correct? So what we'll do is I'll update the contract first for the foyer gallery, so that you have a new contract that you'll be able to share with the artists.
Okay, do you know, you have a ballpark on when that was gonna be? Because I was gonna tell both of the artists, Ela and Lucy, to like jump in there and fill out the applications.
Oh, the application is done. They've already submitted their
I've already
application.
done that, yes.
It's just getting the contract. What we're going to be more specific about is scheduling, having that contract signed by the artist 60 days prior to their show. I don't know if that'll be possible for the May showing, but getting the reason being is the production of the postcard, having specific graphics and details that is what's not provided for in the current agreement, artist agreement, is a lot of the information that we want to have, a bio, websites, social media handles, specific requirements for graphics provided by the artist so that we can do promotion, those sort of things, and that'll all be detailed in the contract. Realistically, probably about 2 or 3 weeks if we move fast. But I don't want to send out the old version. I may just modify the old version just to make it a little bit more clear and legible as a stopgap for the next artist. Let me see if I can get that back to you quickly. But the Lucy Ames that would be the new contract, since she would be the last presenting artist of this year, correct? Yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds fine. I did see that there was a stipulation for getting things done in 60 days, and obviously that's not gonna happen. for
Yeah.
Ela.
Yeah, well, we're in a transition period. We'll make it work for, I just don't want to send out the old, because there are a few things that aren't really clear on that older document that I would like to clean up first.
Sounds great. Sooner the better. I'm going to be contacting her to kind of let her know about a little bit of the process and the required hardware and the fact that we need to like review her artwork before it goes up. And so I'm just going to kind of start rolling that because it is within 60 days. So.
Yeah, what is the date that you have?
Notebook. People still use these. Ela is planned to install on May 31.
Okay, so the end of May, all right.
Into May, yeah. So we have time.
Yeah, okay.
She can work with that.
Okay, good.
Oh, and I am going to set up a time to meet with Ela, so like we did with Jonathan, and review the artwork. Logistics of the whole thing.
Okay, great. Any comments for our gallery?
If anybody has, we can actually do the public comment at the end of all the subcommittees. If
Then we'll move on to the mural subcommittee.
No updates.
Yeah, the only update that I have was that there have been no submissions yet.
Then sculpture loan committee. So on the current piece, the barred spiral, which we just voted last month to purchase, Melanie and I are putting together a memo to bring to city council to approve that purchase. So hopefully we'll have something to share with the staff to adjust, and then we can send that to the city council next week, or we'll send it to them and then have it at the next city council meeting. And then I also let Jeff know that that is our plan, that we voted to purchase his sculpture. And then, so that's for the current piece that's in, and then for the empty sculpture pad that we're trying to find a piece for, we've also put together the call for applications, and that's pretty much about ready to go out once it looks good in the new template that we have for artist applications. And then just a few things to note about this call for applications. The deadline I'm planning to have to be July 1st. So if we have it online in the next week or so, that will be almost 3 months, but a little bit under 90 days. The reason why I have it as July 1st is so that we could review it in July, or else since we don't have any meetings in August, then we would have to wait until September. So I think just under 3 months is okay if we are getting enough applications.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit more flexibility in the sculpture loan program as opposed to something like the mural project or the call for artists for the foyer gallery. I think we have a little bit more control. I'll have to check with Isabel and see if that is a requirement of 90 days minimum for that, if it's the same or if there is some distinction, but I'll find out.
And then another kind of modification from the past call for applications is that the stipend is now $3,000 and previously it was $2,000. And so that'll leave us with $2,000 in the budget for the plaque and any remaining costs. So any questions about the update? Then we can move on to the Arts Committee, Marketing Committee.
We're in an interesting situation right now. Originally, for this meeting, we had a subcommittee meeting on Friday, and there we kind of talked about whether the subcommittee is really needed because of some of the communication difficulties between different subcommittees, and the fact that Albany has a very branded and a lot of requirements for the media that they put out. And you guys already have a team for that kind of creation of that media. So we originally thought it would be a lot easier if each subcommittee would communicate with you to have your team kind of create the media. But because there seems to be now a need for emails and other things to talk more about the call for artists or call for proposals for the mural and foyer gallery, we need to discuss a little bit, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, one of the things that the marketing subcommittee really could help is working with assembling some distribution lists and kind of the heavy lift of just getting that information out to everybody. Now we have more information available on the website. If the city is able to provide the graphics and you all can copy and paste the text and share that with the appropriate agencies and follow up and do that sort of outreach, that would be one way that the marketing committee could help, or the entire arts committee could help by doing that legwork. We've run it through all of our channels, and we haven't received many submissions. So So it'll probably take some legwork from the committee, marketing committee, or all the members of the committee to try and get this information out in front of the appropriate eyes.
Would that be really a necessary thing for the subcommittee marketing to do, other than just all of us to kind of do? Because I try to post all of it and I have very limited social media presence.
So that's a good point. Probably for the entirety of the committee would be something that or the committee could work out a plan to share the load amongst individuals. Doesn't necessarily have to come from a subcommittee, but it could, if there was some sort of plan or determination, that could be agendized during the meeting and discussed and figured out, who needs to, cover which bases.
I mean, I do think that that it's helpful to have some kind of committee like this, because I can't speak for Harsh, but I know that I put it out to the outlets that I thought would be interested. But like if the subcommittee developed a list of who to go to for any of these, and then it becomes routine. So the heavy lifting right now, like Jeremy said, is to figure it out, like who at Laney College or who at UC Berkeley or who at Berkeley City College, because I sent it to some subsets of some of those, but I personally don't know that many people in the mural world.
That seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's something that the marketing committee could discuss and then come up with a plan to figure out how to assemble a list of the who's who, community colleges, universities, arts organizations, galleries? It seems like it's just, it's a matter of kind of putting together that resources of name, email address, and maybe a little bit of outreach, to see if they're willing to, to receive information sent from the city on a regular basis.
Yeah. I think an issue we're having right now is figuring out like what we need to do. And in order for us to do that, we need better communication with some of like the mural subcommittee. Like we don't really know what kind of information needs to be put out there. And we don't have like links to the application forms or anything. And that's why we brought this up, because like the people who are a part of the subcommittees know what needs to be done. And the marketing committee currently doesn't have any contact with like.
That's true. Yeah. Brown Act restricts, the communications between subcommittees, and that should all be done here in the public meeting. Recently, now that we've been doing some long awaited updates to the website is now current, and those links and that information is all shareable at this point. There's nothing there is out of date or incomplete. So text, dates, links, and going forward, especially when we do the sculpture loan program, that'll be the same.
If there's like any information on the website that isn't provided and we want to talk to the other subcommittee, can we ask through you?
Yes.
Okay.
You said we can find these like information about the mural project where? again?
albanyca.org/murals. Yeah, there's a few user-friendly URLs that we created. albanyca.org/gallery will take you, gallery murals. Those will take you directly to those pages. But if you currently, the Art in Albany section is under the Our City part of the website. So you just look for Art in Albany under Our City.
And then maybe once there is a list, like, we could talk in one of these meetings about like how it could work. I mean, I think it could work pretty easily, actually, that once it's up on the website, maybe then the committee writes a little press release, because like you're saying, in the murals program, Harsh and I know that better than anybody, except for maybe Jeremy. And so, and then we give it to you guys, and it's gonna be all the same people for our projects, basically. I mean, and then if we could tailor it, which I already have to the people I know specifically. But so I just think it would be so helpful to have a list, and then we can work through these meetings.
This could be an item for the next meeting in May to do this work. If the marketing committee is able to, pull together kind of the base of or the framework of what a distribution list would look like, bring it to the committee could kind of work out those details, assign tasks, break it up, divide, different members of the committee could focus on different areas, and could be that same, every time that there's a communication that needs to go out to somewhere greater than the Albany e-news or the Albany website, or City of Albany social media, then the committee can just do that same thing because you've already determined it.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely, Harsh and I could write up like a sample press release and bring it to the next meeting. I mean, that can be our trial. We're gonna have to extend the date because it closes in May, right? So that could be the trial, and just see if you guys can pull together some kind of a list, and Harsh and I bring next time a sample press release.
And that could be the template going
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I shared a Google Sheets with you too.
Thank you.
I think finding distribution lists, as you guys are talking about, is a really great idea. Said I have very limited network, but going to galleries, going to universities, colleges, schools. One of people out there who would be interested in
Yeah.
participating.
The other question too would it be useful for the committee to have posters to distribute around town in art departments at various universities? Is it better to have just all online stuff? Maybe the marketing committee could also look at, what are the best resources, for this time, or is it different depending on the venue? Is an email the best way to do it? Or is it a phone call? Is it a link to the website? Is it web flyers? Is it a pamphlet? Those would be things that the marketing committee could look into and see what some of the best practices are, what other agencies or organizations are doing in terms of trying to get the word out. Because there's a variety of different ways to share this information, but we all know that, you can send as many emails as you want, doesn't mean it's going to make that much of a difference and generate an outcome. So then maybe it's presentations, maybe it's, yeah, a lot of different things could be.
So a good start right now would be creating an email list with artists, not only in the Albany area, but in the Bay Area, East Bay.
more like, I would say not necessarily artists, but more like organizations or groups that could get the word out. So
Okay.
like art galleries, maybe, although that's so specific and that just might be a lot of time with probably not a great payoff, but definitely all the colleges, like at every single level of college around here. Because a lot of times, like if you send it at Cal to, I don't know, there's a whole art department, right? Just send it to the administrative director of the art department and it might get in. I'm sure the art department has like a weekly newsletter and it might get in the weekly newsletter. And that's like all we're trying to do
Okay.
here is like get other people to do the hard work of getting it out to the artists.
And sometimes if you are able to send a PDF of a press release, a text blurb, couple different versions of a graphic asset, perhaps a printable PDF poster, right? Like it could be a package that the committee knows, oh, these are the things that we want to send out, make it easy. Is it something that you're emailing that, or do we have like a resource landing page per project on the city website where people can download the content that they want to have so that it's easy to share? That's the idea.
Yeah, and then so what Harsh and I can bring on the next meeting is like a sample of not the website stuff, but basically what it could look like, and then hopefully it will look like, because then after the meeting, we'll send it out, right?
Right.
So,
So we'll work on making a list and then you guys can work on making the press release and then we'll come
Yeah.
together.
we'll do the content, and that seems like I mean, you guys have a great point. You're the marketing committees, the marketing subcommittee of the arts committee. So you don't know everything about each project. So then it makes sense for the projects committee to write the content. And then for you guys, I mean, it's sharing the burden a little bit, I think.
This also could be a standing item on an agenda under discussion and possible action, so that it can always be discussed at the committee meeting.
Kind of going back to the beginning of this, you mentioned that you aren't able to, there's a lot of restrictions with designing the content. And so that's why, what was, I didn't know about that part.
I can speak to that. So, the city has a particular set of branding guidelines. So in order to create something to be a city production, it's probably better handled in-house. However, we have received professionally created graphics, flyers, and posters from other organizations that we've shared in our communications. I don't believe that there is any committee or commission that is actively creating graphic artwork for promotion. So I don't think it's something we would require of the committee to do. But I think this sort of resource, because there's not going to be that many, and these are things that probably would be better coming from staff, right? So we create the flyer and the graphic, share it with the committee to share with the rest of the world. But if the marketing committee can come up with a framework for a distribution list, I think that'd be really helpful. I also have probably some lists, from, could be antiquated, but there's probably some stuff in the old arts committee files that I could dig up and maybe be a good starting point that I'll be happy to share. And then it's not on the marketing committee to actually create the assets.
Okay, so the attachments that you sent in the last email were designed by somebody.
Those, from staff, yeah.
It's in the announcement.
Yeah, a variety of different 4x5 and 16x9 things that could be included in an email if you were going to do that communication. Yeah.
So you said it was created by somebody
Mhm.
else. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the maximum number of members is 3 people right now, given the size of our.
Correct, yeah.
Right. Also, I would suggest it would be great to have one person from every subcommittee on the arts committee, marketing committee, and then this just be a hub for marketing distribution. Anything else related to marketing? I guess once we have the call for applications, then the
Well,
staff will create.
Yeah, we'll do something for the sculpture loan program too. I can get that going.
Great. Yeah, anything else? Then we can move on to the Heron sculpture restoration, which I saw last week, and it looks great, surrounded by a lot of green grass right now.
So I think we need to talk about disbanding this subcommittee.
Well, it can stay on. So I have spoke with Public Works. It is on the schedule to, I'm going to work with our small projects manager in probably June or July, after a few of their things are done, to do outreach to contractors and get quotes to see what needs to be done, how much it would cost in order to, and what sort of options are available for the renovation of that artwork. So there's really probably nothing more to do since the artist is not responding. it will go to Public Works and I'll look at it with them, and then hopefully either in July or September, I'll have some quotes to give the community an idea what the options are, and what it would take to renovate it.
Awesome. So it'll be on the back burner.
Yeah,
Subcommittee.
and for the next meetings, if there's nothing to report, there's nothing to report.
I also, I was trying to think of, a new project, something to work on. Now that the Heron sculpture restoration is kind of moved on to Public Works, and I was wondering what people's opinions are on some sort of plaque commemorating our fire department or our police department.
Plaque for like install public art somewhere?
Yeah, just I'm not sure if that's really us, but
Probably not. If there was, it probably specifically for a commemoration, I don't know if that would be appropriate because I don't know what there would be to commemorate. There may, we probably would, if you were interested in doing something specific for police and fire, you might need to come back to the committee with a presentation, kind of in the same way that the sculpture program was. If there was something that you thought would be of interest to the committee, and share that, and then the committee could weigh in to see if it was appropriate. In terms,
More like if we want to do a mural to commemorate the fire department. and
Yeah,
department, or-
because simply a plaque in commemoration, that wouldn't fall within the public art type of work that this committee does.
Mhm.
But perhaps there is another description of what you're envisioning that may be.
I'll focus it down a bit. But no other updates.
All right, then, future agenda items. So-
Oh, we probably should go to public comment. Even though I don't see any hands raised, if anybody in the virtual audience has any comments on the subcommittee updates, please raise your hand. Nobody here? I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Curious about the people who emailed the committee after one of our meetings about the pillars. The stupid Moffett.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know if anybody responded to them or with that.
What email was it?
Oh, this is a while ago, sorry.
Oh, that was from an. Yeah, there was no other follow-up from them about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, that was, I think, concerned that there was a lot of vandalism and destruction in that of equipment in that area. And so I think it was like concerned about, it was, I'm reading the email right now. It was like about having lighting and stuff and that the lights would get stolen.
Just to kind of give you a little bit of a preview, a number of the activities or some of the activities that were going to be on the Greenway will likely be inside of the community center in a final kind of shared multimedia gallery exhibition and presentation. Some of the stuff that there will be content that is happening on the green space, but some of the installations that were originally conceived will be now in inside gallery space in the community center. That's some part of the planning that's going on right now with the artist.
Okay, so future agenda items for the next meeting. It sounds like there's gonna be a few new topics like the poet laureate and the Seen and Heard presentation, and then updates on everything else that we have going on. I'm not going to be present at the next meeting because that is my graduation ceremony on that
Ooh.
at 7 o'clock. So I will be missing that meeting, but I will, thank you, I will listen to the recording afterwards to hear the Seen and Heard stuff and everything, but I won't be online listening either.
Shall we also put on something talking about the marketing and distribution lists?
Yeah, sure.
Did we add anything to the future agenda? Maybe talking about what the foyer would be used for, like, is the Seen and Heard project a separate thing to the foyer, or is it something that is going to be a part of it? And then, I bring that up because we've been talking about having a student show, and that's kind of different from what the foyer does currently. So, yeah.
I agree with that because the Seen and Heard is more of an event. And I think the student show would be a little bit more of an event.
Yeah.
You have to be careful about those because they have to be curated carefully.
Mm.
But definitely, I think we should be open to that.
One of the things I did leave in the foyer gallery application is part of what came from the murals application is that it's open to groups of artists.
Okay.
Where it was specifically called out that it was not before. I didn't leaving it open for what we had talked about for having student shows if we were going to do something like that.
Yeah, I think that it would depend on how well it falls into the foyer art gallery category, because if it's like 2D, if it like the criteria right now, it's like it's 2D pieces and like pieces that are hung up on the wall. Like if it fits pretty well in that category, then it maybe would be part of the art gallery program. But then something like Seen and Heard is something that would not fit into the mold of that program, and that needs to be an exception. Sorry.
Well, the arts committee can also propose, these were all programs that were proposed at one point. So if there is something else that comes up that is a different idea for how to do things, perhaps it could be considered different, timings. Maybe there is a student show that runs for 2 weeks in between 4 artists. I mean, just another way to think about this. Maybe there, one of the things that Susan Moffett is looking at is some installations for the 3D aspects of the show and how that would work in the foyer gallery, and whether or not there is a collaboration with the recreation department to do something more robust in terms of a presentation or an artist talk. Certainly something that can be considered, discussed, and proposed to do something more elaborate that may be more conducive to an organization like Seen and Heard to promote arts in Albany. As it is, the foyer gallery is not set up for what is happening with Seen and Heard, but it doesn't mean that there couldn't be something different that is proposed later. Ultimately, it comes down to bandwidth, financial resources, time, and staff resources, right? So there's a lot of things to balance in that equation. But it certainly can be something the Arts Committee looks at better ways to facilitate arts in Albany.
I assume everything we decide has some form of budget to it, like if
Correct.
it's Seen and Heard, and she want to do the spoken word thing. That's like opening the space, and somebody has to be there.
Correct.
to deal with it.
Audiovisual support, providing the space to the community instead of doing a rental for a wedding, for example,
Right.
different aspects of that. But that's what a community center is for. That's what the, art committee and the recreation department, those are things that all could happen, but they require planning and some staff commitment to kind of shepherding them through, right? So.
So the gallery space is more so used for the arts committee, not just for the arts, the foyer program, art gallery program. Is that okay?
That's one program that the Arts Committee came up with at some point in the past, and that's been going for as many years as I can remember. I don't know if it was specifically came through when the building was built, if that was the intention of that space, from the very beginning, or if there's a requirement. I'm not sure, but it would be up to this current Arts Committee and the next Arts Committee members to determine how it goes through in the future. Things change, so, it doesn't always have to be exactly the same thing.
Change it up.
Yeah, are you thinking of potentially talking among other students to see if there is some interest in then maybe bringing that to the next meeting?
Yeah, I would talk to the art teacher probably, and there are student shows like at like the Abrams Claghorn Gallery in Solano. So, and that usually happens around the end of the year. So maybe they'd be interested in like another venue for gallery displays. But yeah, I can talk to the art teacher about it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like if there could be like a group show made up of students from the high school, or if there's something more, beyond what we have right now for the foyer art gallery, then maybe we could like have a presentation or a specific agenda item to discuss that.
I'm all for that as well. Gallery is great, but I think it can be expanded.
Okay, so yeah, maybe I will ask you before the next meeting how you would want to talk about that.
Yep.
Okay, and then in terms of like meeting planning, I would want to try to reschedule the June meeting, but since I won't be at the May meeting, maybe we can all discuss that through our emails or through Jeremy to try to another day.
I can coordinate between everybody if we're looking at another date in June. It seems to me that there's a number of things that are happening at the May meeting that you won't be able to participate in, and we probably shouldn't cancel the June meeting, probably look for a rescheduled day, because there'll be a continuation of whatever we talk about in the May meeting.
Yeah, do folks think does that sound good to try to find a time that Jeremy and me can make it?
Mhm. Okay,
What was that for the May?
June.
June. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
And by the way, for the email list for the marketing subcommittee, just to let you know, I guide you on like what kind of tone was it press release? I'm basically making an email of different art departments at different colleges around the Bay Area. Okay.
Just to kind of give you a heads up for the June, we'd probably be looking at June 16th, June 22nd, 29th through the 30th. Yeah. So probably looking at June 22nd, which is a Monday. That probably might be the easiest. Oh gosh,
That's why the 16th is Father's Day.
yeah, right, exactly. No, not on a Sunday. Sorry, you're right. Thank you. Hey, I know, I should know this stuff. We'd probably be looking at the 18th, the 24th, 18th through the 24th, or Thursday, the 6th. Those are, but I'll have to check with the city clerk and see if there's any other meetings that are planning to be scheduled. Probably the 18th or the 24th would be the most likely candidates. Okay.
Juneteenth.
No, that would be on June 19th. Okay. I'll confirm and send out an email and see if we can officially schedule it.
Yeah, I mean, as close to the original date as we can, that it's not too close to the July meeting. Or else or potentially would just like fuse them together. The same reason why I can't attend the 10th though is also I will be out of town on the 6th as well.
The same goes for me.
Oh, okay, right, okay. You also.
Well, we just found out that, well, I'm from Humboldt County. I think that's actually, where you're intending to go, correct? Yeah.
Yes, I have a job lined up after graduation, and so I'm moving to Arcata, Humboldt County.
What are you studying?
Fisheries, like salmon modeling. There's a lot. Yeah, thanks. But yeah, I'm planning on moving in July, so that kind of works out with the recess happening in August. Yeah, I'm going to French Polynesia again
Yeah.
in June. So.
Yeah, and I'm going to Oregon.
Hey, Oregon's nice. I like Oregon.
Yeah.
Right, so our next meeting will be May 13th, and if there's nothing else, we can adjourn for today.
Right, thank you.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.